Hey, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying this week's series on biblical leadership. And if you are, would you do me a favor and just share it with somebody else? Share it with your pastor, with your youth pastor, with your parent, with your friend, because I think this is good stuff that's going to be helpful for everybody, no matter what their age is. And I love that you keep tuning in. I love that you keep investing in your maturity and your growth in the Lord. This week, as we talk about leadership, remember we say that biblical leadership, the purpose of biblical leadership is to glorify God and to take care of others. And that in order to be a leader, first you have to be able to lead yourself. And then second, you have to be shown faithful with tasks. So let's say that you've been doing these things and now you are in a position where you have the ability to lead others. I want to talk about level 3 of leadership. So level 1 is leading yourself. Level 2 is being faithful with tasks. Level 3 is shepherding others, leading others. And first and foremost, it's important for you to understand that leadership is not about titles. Leadership is not about your position. Leadership is all about influence. I have been in situations where there are leaders over top of me who have the title and position, but they are not the ones in control because nobody respects them. Or they are controlling things and it's going terribly because they are doing it for their own glory. They're doing it for their own end. And you've probably been in these situations too. You've probably had teachers that you know were great leaders because they felt not just about being in control of the classroom, but they felt all about the student. Maybe you've been in a work situation where you've had a great boss and the great boss helps you to do your job well and take care of you. And it's fun to work underneath a great boss. And you might have had the opposite as well. Somebody who is insecure, who is uncommunicative, who is just not leading. And so as we think about shepherding others, leading others, sometimes, again, this is going to be because you're actually given a title and position. And sometimes it's because you're going to find yourself with influence. I want to share with you a passage from 1 Peter chapter 5 that is a great guideline for shepherding others. And this is actually the Apostle Peter was writing to pastors. And, the pastors were called shepherds. The word pastor actually originally means shepherd. And he's telling them how they're supposed to take care of the church. But I think this is a great mindset for all of us in our leadership positions. It says, shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly, not domineering over those in charge of you, but being examples to the flock. And so this is really cool because it brings in so many of the things we've been talking about this week. So it's time to lead others. What does Peter say? In here, he says that we're supposed to shepherd the flock of God. So anybody that you have, now he's talking about pastors in a church situation. But whatever your situation, I want you to remember that the people that you are leading don't belong to you. They belong to God. They are made in God's image. They are His creation. They're made by God for God. So you're leading the people of God, not under compulsion, not because you're being forced to lead, but willingly because God's giving you an opportunity to make a difference. So how do you want to do this? It says, not for shameful gain. Remember, Jesus said that the rulers of this world do it for power, prestige, and authority. And you are not leading people for your own glory and gain. And it says not domineering those that are in your charge. So what that means is you don't want to try to push them simply because you're in charge, because I said so. How many of you have been in a situation where your mom and dad ask you to do something and you're like, why? And they're like, because I said so. Now, sometimes I do that as well. I'm a parent. I get to pull the because I said so card. But I can tell you as a kid, I'm always frustrated with the because I said so card. Why? Because sometimes it just feels domineering. You're telling me what to do, but not why. Well, don't be like that. If you get frustrated when your mom and dad do that, first off, still honor them and do what they said. But secondly, if there's a leadership tendency that bothers you or annoys you about them, don't turn around and do it to other people when you have the chance. So not domineering, but being examples to the flock. Remember what level 1 of leadership was? It was leading yourself. Okay. So now that you're in a position of leadership, whether that's with the title or with influence, you want to lead by example. Jesus, in our first session of this week, Jesus talked about the leader is the servant of all. A leader's not afraid to pick up the broom. A leader's not afraid to do the dishes. A leader's not afraid to scrub the floors. A leader is not afraid to take the dirty work. A leader is not afraid to have the hard conversations. Why? Because you're being an example, because you know how to lead yourself well. So you're not insecure by these hard positions. You're not insecure by what somebody else might think is a menial position. And I'll tell you, it's really cool. If a leader will pick up a broom, if a leader will scrub a toilet, if a leader will clean the floor, then it just kind of lowers the bar for everybody else. Everybody else will do it as well. So you're not domineering because you're in charge, but you're being an example. Leadership is about serving, not controlling. True leaders don't need the title. They lead by example. And then your influence will grow as you are faithful with your task, faithful with your character, and consistent in the way that you treat people. And so I hope that God gives you many opportunities to be a leader, to shepherd others, but I want you to shepherd them as a servant, as an example. Ultimately, you're helping point them to Jesus because they belong to Jesus. They are made by God and for God, and they either have already put their faith in Jesus or they need to, and just maybe your method of leadership will help point them to God. That'd be an awesome thing. So that's my prayer for you, and come back tomorrow as we talk about level 4 leadership.